Yo, what's going on YouTube? Please don't mind my voice. I'm a little bit under the weather, but I'm going to be recording this video today anyway. I have a pair of black laser 4s that I want to restore and bring back to life. The only problem is that somebody actually tried restoring these before me and they did a little bit of damage to the midsole. That is something that I personally do not know how to fix, but there are just a few things that I want to actually film myself doing just to give you guys, the viewers, a little bit better of an understanding of how to do things if you want to approach a restoration by yourself. The outsole here needs a little bit of deoxidizing. The toe cap has started to turn yellow. The midsole needs to be repainted. Somebody tried stripping it before and they used way too much acetone. I will show you guys what I'm talking about right now. You can see right here that pretty much the acetone has just eaten away at the midsole, like I said before. I don't know how to fix it, but you know, luckily the entire midsole is black, so I don't have to worry about getting straight lines, because where I would normally tape off to get straight lines, it is completely jagged and all messed up. Hopefully my paint job will conceal some of the damage, but I can't promise anything. And we also need to get this toe cap decreased. The laces are fine, and other than that, the shoe needs a nice deep clean. So without any more further ado, let's get into this restoration video. But before I actually jump into this restoration, I want to tell you guys to be sure to follow me on Instagram. My username is the exact same as it is here on YouTube. It is at xChaseMaccini. I will leave links in the description down below, and there should be a little name here on the screen for you to follow as well. Like I have said in so many of my videos in the past, if you want to keep up to date with what I'm doing long before it shows up in your subscription feed, follow me on Instagram. I post literally every single thing that I do here on YouTube on Instagram long before I actually post it on YouTube. And if you're actually interested in keeping up to date with what I'm doing, give me a follow. Let's get to it. So the first thing that I'm going to do is remove this old paint from the midsole, and since somebody already tried to restore this, the only way that you can get Angela's paint off effectively is with acetone. I'm not going to want to use a lot because whoever restored this shoe before me has already done damage to the midsole and I don't want to further damage it. So I got my cotton balls right here. I put straight acetone into an old bottle of nail polish remover, and now let's get started at removing this old paint. Alright, so I know it doesn't really look like it because the actual midsole underneath the paint is black, but I have removed all the old paint and the old finish that the person who did these before me applied to it. So what I'm going to do next is go remove the laces and clean this shoe very nice and thoroughly. Alright, so I'm in the bathroom with the weird looking sink. I found out from my last restoration video that a lot of you guys think that this is a weird looking sink. It's a washing sink. I have a washing machine right here. You use this sink to soak the things that you want to soak before you actually wash it, you know, like whites and all that. I don't really need to explain, but that's what this sink is. It looks weird because it is weird. It's not meant for washing dishes or anything. It's just a big sink, and it does a lot of good for me when I'm restoring shoes. I'm going to get the laces out of here real quick and continue on with this restoration. Alright, before I actually get into cleaning, I'm showing you guys the brushes I'm going to be using. I'm going to be using Reshoevn8r All-Purpose and Reshoevn8r Suede, and obviously I will be using the Reshoevn8r Ultimate Sneaker Solution. I'm not going to be putting this shoe into the washing machine. I don't think that the person that I'm doing this for would really appreciate me putting their $800 pair of shoes in the actual wash, so I'm not going to do that. I am just going to apply a little bit of water onto the suede brush here, and we're going to actually get into cleaning this shoe.
What we do here is go back.
Alright, so the shoe is nice and clean. I'm just waiting for it to dry, but since I need to deoxidize this outsole, a good thing to do while I'm waiting for it to dry is to actually get started on that. And what I'm going to be using today to deoxidize the outsole of this shoe is Reshoevn8r Sole Glow. I have not had the chance to use this, so right now is a perfect opportunity to actually give you guys my thoughts and opinions on it. If you are curious as to the steps that I take in order to deoxidize a pair of shoes, I want you guys to click right here. It will bring you through to a video where I deoxidize a toe cap strap and a outsole of a pair of, I believe they're Nike SBs. They are the Marty McFlys, the Mags, whatever you want to call them. But I give you guys pretty much step-by-step instructions. I'm going to be doing the exact same steps in that video as I'm going to be doing to this pair of shoes right here. And let's get into it, see how the results are. Alright, so I've finished deoxidizing the outsole. I do think that I could use a couple more sessions, but overall, this sat outside for about 20 minutes and that Sole Glow stuff actually worked really well, if I do say so myself. It lifted a lot of the yellowing, but you can still see that there is some discoloration within the outsole. But the sun is pretty much gone at this point, so what I'm going to do now is skip to the next step, and I actually want to show you guys a good example of why you should be very careful with Sole Glow. You see that white stuff all on my fingers? That is where I let the Sole Glow actually touch my skin without any protection. It doesn't hurt, it doesn't burn, it's just ugly, I guess that's the best way to put it. It's not going anywhere. Like, I'm scratching it, it's just messed up. That's the best way to describe it. But anyway, let's get back into painting this midsole here. What I'm going to be using is Angelus Flat Black. The paint that you use really doesn't matter, because when it comes to a midsole like this, it's all about the finisher, and I'm going to get into that once I'm finished painting. So let's get to it. Alright, so the midsole is pretty much good to go. I did 5 layers of flat black, and like I said before I started painting the midsole, is that the actual black that you use, whether you use regular black or flat black, it does not matter. For shoes like this, what matters is the actual finish that you use. And if you remember, when this shoe released, what you want to try and do is get the shoe looking as close to original as possible. And when this shoe released, it had a glossy undertone right here on the midsole, and then up here was more matte. So what I'm going to be doing is putting down a base layer of matte finish with a little bit of duller in it, and the ratio is 1 to 10. If you remember from my last video, my restoration tips video on how to get a factory look, you do 1 drop of duller for every 10 drops of finish. So I'm going to be doing an undercoat of matte, and then I'm going to be doing a undercoat here on the bottom of high gloss finish, just to get that nice original dead stock look. Unfortunately, the midsole was a little bit damaged, like I said, from the person who previously tried to restore this shoe, so it's not going to look 100% as I would want it to, but it's definitely going to look a lot better than it did when I first started on it. So let's get to applying this finisher, and then we will jump straight ahead to decreasing the toe box. Alright, so I'm done applying the finisher, and as you can see as I reflected here off the light, the top portion of the midsole has a nice matte look, and the bottom section has a nice high gloss, the way that these shoes released all the way around. Unfortunately, the flaws from the midsole from the person who damaged it prior to me working on it are, you know, pretty much shining through, but it's the best that I can do. I don't really do sole swaps yet, so I'm not going to sole, and honestly this shoe doesn't need it. Whoever took acetone to this pretty much just ruined the midsole, and like I said in the beginning of the video, there's really not much that you can do about it, but you can, you know, you can do your best to make it look good, pretty much. I guess that's the best way to describe it. But what we're going to get into right now is actually decreasing this toe box. It's not too bad, but the customer does want it to be taken care of. I have not made a video on decreasing a toe box in a very long time, so I will explain it to you really quick. The things that you're going to need in order to decrease a toe box, and mind you, this only works on leather, okay? You can try it on suede and you can try it on nubuck, but you're probably going to ruin your shoes. I'm going to tell you that right now. It works best for flat leather. Completely smooth flat leather. Doesn't work too good on tumbled leather because you can completely iron out the pebbles, but what you need in order to continue this is some grocery bags, a spray bottle of water, an iron, and a white t-shirt that you don't care about. The reason why you want white is because when you use a white t-shirt, colors will not bleed onto the actual shoe. So what I'm going to do now is just do a time lapse of showing you guys what you need to do in order to decrease the toe box of your shoe. Alright, so the toe box is nice and stuffed up. Since this does have laser etch on it, you don't want to have the iron too hot because these are technically creases. If you want to get very technical with it, they're, handmade creases. It's not from wearing the shoe. You can iron this and the laser etching will actually go away, so you want to be very careful when you do this. But pretty much, we'll get the camera in focus here. What you want to do is you take your shirt, you place it over the shoe. You want to plug your iron in. I have not plugged my iron in. Give me 1 second. Alright, so what you want to do is you want to cover the area in which you're going to be ironing with the white t-shirt. You take your spray bottle, you spray down, get the toe box nice and wet. If it's a leather shoe, don't be afraid of getting your shoe wet. That's the best advice that I can give to people. You press it down, you take your iron on medium heat. I highly recommend medium heat. And you just do a very light over the actual toe box. Use the tip to get into these hard to reach corners. And you want to be very careful, like I said, with the black laser 4, because this shoe you could actually iron out the laser etching, but that is not too bad. That is a pretty good toe box decrease. I'm going to hit it one more time just to make sure that these are the results that I'm looking for. Spray. Most important part, make sure that the toe box is saturated, because if this hits it dry, chances are you're going to damage your shoe. Go over one more time. Don't press too hard. You really got to be careful doing this. You don't want to damage your shoe, like I've said about 20 times already. And that right there is going to be the exact result that I'm looking for. Let's get this in focus. We have a nice toe box, no creasing anymore. That is absolutely beautiful. I think the customer is going to be very happy with that. And with that being said, I'm going to get the laces in here and let's see how these bad boys look now that they're all finished.
7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
You'll never have the sacred stone.
Oh, this you crazy mother.